G'day, Ben from Duck Plain Chicken here with a new build series. This time something from an arcade game from Metal Slug X. So these are a series of kits put out by a company called Xinshi, I think. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. There's 6 of the kits in this line for Metal Slug X. I know they also put out a range for one of the other Metal Slug games. I think it was Metal Slug 3. These come in a box set. So I've got 4, 5 and 6 here, but there's also another 3 of them. So 3, 2 and 1. Now I'm not going to build all 6 in this video series. I'm just going to build 3 of them, and I'm going to take the last 3. But just so that you know, it does come in a full set of the 6 kits. So I think if I do 3 in this series and then do another 3 later on. It does come in, the 6 kits come in a larger box. Like this. And it does have sort of an image on the back sort of showing all the vehicles as they appear in the game, which is nice. Let's have a look at what's in the boxes. So we'll start off with Melty Honey. And the sprues do come bagged up, individually bagged, so I've just taken them out of the bag so I can share the sprues properly. First of all, we get a set of instructions, so just a sort of 2-sided affair. We get the call out for the sprues. We also do get water slide decals. We get a figure. They give you some indication of colours, but it doesn't look like it's linked to a specific paint brand. So with the 6 kits, you get enough parts to build up a 7th kit, and they provide the instructions of that in here as well. And they give you an indication of which bits, you know, come from which of the 6 kits. Okay, we have a look at the other side. The instructions are a pretty simple affair. Yeah, not a massive part count. And the instructions are pretty straightforward. I think a lot of it is written in Chinese, but you know, it looks pretty clear as far as the assembly goes. So that's the instructions. I'll start off with get this white sprue. So this is for the other vehicle. Get the tub. The detail's reasonably good. I mean, given that it's not based on, you know, a real life sort of vehicle, they give you some nice sort of surface detail. Yeah, it's good. We get the tracks. So the tracks are not movable; they're just static bits of plastic, which in my mind is a good thing because it makes it easier to paint and also easy to assemble. A small little black sprue here, another grey one. This looks like the front shield part. We get a yellow sprue with the ordnance. Another grey sprue with some details for the wheels and a few other bits and pieces. And this little green sprue here. And then the figure comes in 2 parts. So we've got a sprue with the arms and the face, and then we've got the body and the backpack. It's actually a different type of material, sort of a rubbery material. So I'm not sure how my paints are going to go on this one. It'll be interesting to see if I have any issues with that. So there is a mold line that I'm going to have to deal with, and depending on how soft this plastic is, it'll be interesting to see how well it cleans up. But it is good they include a figure. There's no sort of stand for the figure, but it looks like it won't have any problems standing if it's, you know, on its own. We also get, and this is a really nice touch, they give you stickers as well as water slide decals. So here we've got the stickers. So, you know, if you got someone younger who's building the kit, they might prefer to use the stickers, might be easier for them. But you also get water slide decals, which I'm a fan of. And the great thing is too, they've included decals for the eyes, which is fantastic because I always struggle with painting eyes on figures. So that's it for Melty Honey. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is the Sarubia, which is the big artillery, heavy artillery. We get this brown sprue here. Get this one which makes up the sides. And again, the detail's nice. I've got some really deep panel lines here, which is good because given that it's sort of a, I guess, a cartoony style, it is good to have those deep panel lines so you can get some black panel wash in there. Make those details really pop. Again, the tracks aren't sort of workable, but that's not a problem as far as I'm concerned. You get some more detail parts like the exhaust, searchlight, a few other bits and pieces. You get a couple of white pieces which I'm assuming go on the model that's combined from pieces from the rest of the kits. A couple of yellow pieces. A couple of off-white pieces. So this one includes another figure. So we've got the body and backpack, and this looks similar to the last one we looked at. Got the face. The arms are a little bit different, so holding a weapon and also the shield. So it looks like they've used the same face maybe and same body. I'll know once I sort of start putting them together. But yeah, the arms and the are a bit different. Okay, let's have a look at the instructions for this one. I'm sure it'll be a similar affair. So again, sprue call out, colour guide showing the 7th kit being built, and again, reasonably straightforward instructions. So, looks pretty good. Stickers, again, these pre-cut stickers. And then we get the decals. Now it's interesting, I've just noticed, look at the decals, we do have the eyes here for the decals, but not for the stickers. Now I'm assuming that would just be because of practicality. Eye stickers probably wouldn't work particularly well, but yes, it is interesting to see that they have included the eyes on the water slide, but not the stickers. Okay, number 6 is the land seek. So I get a white, what do you call that, lilac colour, light purple. You get part of the body, the wheels. You get the tray. I do like the level of detail they've gone to. We've got the track. Actually, I suspect some of these tracks here, we've got 2 sprues of tracks, but one of them will probably be for the other kit. So one will be for this, one will be for the other. Got the chassis, and we've actually got some nice detail on the underside there of the chassis. That's kind of cool. We've got the cab. Yeah, again, nice little detail, hinges on the doors. Cool. Alright, we've got the top of the cab, a few other details, green sprue. Got some wheels and even steering wheel and what I suspect is probably a gear stick. So yeah, that one looks particularly detailed. Now this one comes with a couple of figures, and so one of the figures is this one here is for the 7th kit, you know, where you've got the commander jumping out of the top of it, yeah, angry as anything. The other one, again, I suspect this is the same body and same backpack, but we have different arms this one. Okay, now it's interesting, in this kit it appears I've only got some stickers. So very small couple of stickers here, but I can't seem to find any water slide decals. I've got the protective bit of paper for it, but not the decals themselves. So that's no big drama, I'm going to be painting it anyway, but a bit disappointing that it didn't, yeah, it might turn up somewhere. But I'm sure when I opened it, I didn't see anything sort of, any decals fall out anywhere. The instructions are the same affair. So call out of the pieces, the sprues, got colour call outs. You've got the instructions, which is again really well laid out, quite simplistic. Alright, so that's kind of it. They're the 3 kits I'm going to build. As far as the painting style and stuff goes, I haven't really sort of thought about it. The next step is for me to remove all the parts from the sprues, put it together, so I'll show you what they look like sort of just out of the box sort of assembled, and yeah, then I'll start looking at sort of the painting and what sort of level of detail I'm going to put into the painting. Okay, I'm going to start putting together the land seek. So I'm just going to do assembly here so you can see what the kit looks like out of the box. It also gives me an idea of any issues I might come across when trying to paint it. So open up the instructions here and see what's what. Okay, so we start with the chassis, and looks like we actually get the tracks on. Now they do sort of slide a little bit, so obviously we've got some wheels that go in here, help to keep it in position. Now, one thing I should say about the parts that, as I was taking them off the sprues, the kit seems to be really well molded. You know, there's very minimal sort of flash. There's not a lot of issues with the molding of the pieces, but there are a couple of areas that are a little bit disappointing, like with the tracks. There's this mold line that goes right down the middle. Now, admittedly, you're not going to see that when it's assembled, but yeah, that one's a bit hard to tidy up. But the rest of the kit seems pretty good as far as, you know, the molding of the parts. Okay, so we're just getting the rear tracks on here. They all seem to go together pretty well. And of course, this is a snap kit fit. And of course, this is a snap fit kit. So if you've got younger modelers, they might enjoy this build because there's very few pieces and it's no glue required. Put the front bumper on, and then what do we have? We have the cab here. We have the gear stick. Here somewhere. Okay, I can't for the life of me get that gear stick in place, so I think I might have to drill that hole out a little bit. Okay, that's a 1mm. Let's go up to 1.2. Now I will be gluing this in, so it doesn't matter if it's a bit loose. There is supposed to be a sort of flat edge on it by the look of it, but I can't find it and it's too awkward to get in place. So there we go, that makes it a lot easier, and a bit of glue in there and it'll be fine. We've got the steering wheel and column. It looks completely impractical. So that steering wheel is way too close, but it does fit in there. And of course, it is supposed to be comical. So right. So now we can put the cab over the top here. Seems to fit reasonably well. No, actually, before we do that, we should have put on the chassis. Okay. Let's get the rear tray on. That goes on nice and easy. We've got a little stowage box that sort of stacks on top of this other one here. We've got these on the side. It's kind of nice they've done these as separate pieces, because at least you'll be able to paint them relatively easily in different colour. And why is that not going on? Is there a right and left? Maybe there is. Maybe there is. Actually, there is a right and left. Might help if I actually read the instructions. Okay, so we've got these pieces on the side, and then we have the windscreen, which is really nice because it folds down, so that's kind of cool. And then we put on the canopy. Okay, so it does actually sit in there. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could have it with the windscreen down, but in most cases you can probably want it up. Okay, so there we go. That's the Landseek. Anyway, moving on to the figure. Now, these figures are made of sort of a rubbery plastic. I'm not sure what type of plastic it is, but they are a bit rubbery. They're a little bit tricky to sort of clean up because it doesn't sand as well as styrene, but you can still sort of remove one of the seams. There's sort of a moulding seam that goes all the way down the side of the character that you'll have to deal with. It comes with a little backpack that goes on the back there. We've got the face. This is really cool that that's actually separate, so I'll be able to paint that up separately, which is nice, and they've actually captured the look of him really well. Now this one has a bazooka. So it goes on there. Again, there was sort of a seam line down the middle of the bazooka, which you'll have to deal with. Get his other arm on. Now I reckon he's not going to be able to stand up on his own. Nope, he's very front heavy, so I might have to do something about a base for him. I think I might just mount all the characters to I might just make a bit of a custom base. All right, but that's the Landseek. So moving on to the next one. Okay, moving on to the Sarubia. We have the chassis. It doesn't appear to be a back or front to it. Or is it? Ah, yes, there is. So there is an arrow in the bottom there that I assume points to the front. Okay, and then we have these, which I think can only go one way. And there are sort of slots that they need to go in, like so. And they are slightly different, so they will only go one way, I think. So we've got these bits that go in here. Like so. Okay, now we have to line up. There's an arrow on here and an arrow in here, and they have to follow the same direction. And you can see there is actually a bit of a taper, so that's why you've got to get lined up properly, or otherwise it will not fit. Then we've got two little lights, and it looks like this arrow is actually pointing to the back, not to the front. We've got these two little lights. Okay, we've actually got to get some stuff lined up for these side pieces. So we get these on here. It does have a nice amount of detail, this kit. You know, given they are just sort of pixelated, you know, little pixelated vehicles in the game, it's nice to see that they've sort of put a bit of extra detail in the model kits. Alright, now these slot in here somewhere. How does that work? Like so. So there's a, if I take that out, you see that little groove there, and the corresponding section just slots in there. Okay, so now we can get these two together. Now there is a little bit of seam work I'm going to have to do, but it's nice that they've actually done some sort of panel lines for the bulk of it. Cleaning up some of these are going to be interesting, I think. Getting a sanding stick in there. We have these yellow pieces, and they stick on both ends. Okay, so now we have these little pieces that go in here, and the holes do go all the way through, which means I'll be able to push these out for painting. Again, it's nice they've separated that out, makes it a lot easier to paint up. Okay, then we put the lid on it, which goes like so. Put this on here. It does look cool. It does look cool. Right, put the hatch on the top, and that is keyed to go a specific way, so that's cool. Presses in. This detail piece going here, and finally we have a spotlight. Okay, there you go. Now there are sort of stickers, of course, you can apply to this, so you know, you don't have to worry about sort of painting it up. It actually looks pretty good, you know, as it is. Alright, and we got the figure. And this figure shares some common parts to the other one I just showed. So the body's the same, I think the face is the same. And the backpack is the same, but we actually get different arms. So this guy is carrying a pistol. It's tight, might have to trim some of those arm pegs, I think. And then we've got a riot shield. And need to get this around the right way. Okay, so we have a guy with riot shield. He does actually stand up on his own, but I think if I give them all custom bases, might be the way to go. Alright, so that's the Sarubia. Okay, time for my personal favourite, which is the Melty Honey. So we have the tub here. We have the floor piece that goes in, like so. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get that out again, but too late. We put this in, and the tracks do have a particular way they have to go. So let's get that in place, and these wheels. Alright, so we've got them in place. We have a box with the shells. Now, okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's try putting this in first. And try just okay. I think I may have to trim those pegs as well, and just I can't see what's preventing those from sitting in the pegs. Anyway, I'm going to leave that off for now. I think what I'll end up doing is just cutting those pegs and just gluing that in place, glue the shells in place. I think that'll be the best way to go there. That's a bit disappointing. There's sort of some fit issues with the pegs. You know, it's not great, but that's all right. Nothing that a pair of nippers can't fix. All right, and we start on this guy. Have this nice little detail piece, the radio, it just slots inside there, so it's nice they've included that inner detail. Now we have these side pieces and they do have ejector pin marks on them, so I've had to do sort of some sanding because they will be seen, so they slot in the side here. The other thing that's nice is they've got this raised detail for the numbering, so it's going to make it a bit easier to mask. Okay, what do we got? We've got two little, which way do these go? This in there, two little exhausts. Okay, then we've got my weapon. So you've got two bits here for the outside of it, and then you have, what's this, the breech, isn't it what that is? Yeah, we'll have to do some seam cleanup with this one, but that should poke out the hole. It is keyed to go a particular way. Okay, and then this goes over the top like so. Let's put these guys on first. These go a specific way. Yeah, I also think these are probably going to need some glue to hold them in place. There we go. All right. Yeah, that seems to be sitting okay. Alright. Don't know how long these exhausts are going to last in there. So we've got the exhaust there, we've got, yeah, that will sit in there at some stage. And now we've got the front shield. So for this we've got five little spikes, and they are keyed to go a specific way. All right. Now, this does have a couple of pegs, one with the two holes at the top and this one down here. This is a very cool looking vehicle though. I do love this this vehicle. All right, then we have two little packs that go on here, and that is the Melty Honey. There you go, that's very cool. All right, the figure. So, same deal again. Same body, same face, same backpack. Same weird plastic. Can't believe they didn't do these in styrene. Now this guy, he is just pointing. Now what's interesting with this one is that I think he actually sits in the vehicle pretty well. Unlike the other two vehicles, the figure doesn't really sort of fit in there, but this one kind of does. But again, I think I'll probably just end up putting him on a base and doing it that way. Alright, so I've got the basic assembly together. I think painting should be reasonably straightforward, but I am going to leave this video here. The next video will be all about the painting, including the painting of the figures. I've just noticed that this guy actually does have a different face to the other two, so my apologies there. He's actually yelling, whereas the other two have got closed mouths. So it's good, there's a bit of variation there. Next video will be about painting, short one this one. Until next time, I'll catch you later.